When it rains, it pours here in DC. It was announced today that Travis Sykora, the Nationals' lone top prospect, will be getting Tommy John surgery. And man, does this suck.
You are Locked On Nationals, your daily Washington Nationals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And yes, I am your host, Ryan Clary. Catch me over on Twitter at RyanClary11 and as well as our show page at LO_Nationals for all your latest Nationals news and notes. Make sure to check us out over on Twitter. This is an emergency Locked On Nationals podcast because the Nationals' top prospect, the third round pick back in 2023, Travis Sykora, it was announced today that he is going to undergo Tommy John surgery. And everybody, this is the gut punch that sent the Nationals just away. I mean, when it rains, it pours, and I'm being so serious when I say that because obviously we are right now at the trade deadline talking about MacKenzie Gore and what could be happening with him. There's all sorts of rumors surrounding him. And you know what? Travis Sykora, everybody talks about him. We heard just a few weeks ago that the belief was that he would be okay from the team. But unfortunately, it was after he got an MRI, it has been now known that he has a torn UCL and he will get Tommy John surgery. So first and foremost, just the pure reaction to this is just awful news. I mean, again, for any of your top prospects out there, let alone being your one blue chip prospect for this team, this is just one of those situations where you kind of have to sit back and just take in just how bad this news was for this team and the timing of it. Can July get over for the Nationals at this point? I cannot wait for the calendar to strike August because July has been a brutal month for this team. You fire Mike Rizzo. You fire Davey Martinez. The trade deadline is here. There's rumors surrounding some of your best players right now within the organization. And now your one blue chip prospect who we all thought could be up by early next year in 2026 is now going to be out with Tommy John surgery. And for all the down years that we have had with player development and talking about Mike Rizzo and kind of the poor job this organization has done to develop talent, Travis Sykora was the bright spot. He was the guy who kind of saved jobs here in DC. He was the one guy that you could say he has superstar potential in this farm system right now. And it's not to say that he won't after this. Obviously, everybody knows Tommy John surgery is a very nuanced surgery, and some people come back better than ever. Some people don't come back the same. And for Nationals fans out there, again, I think with the way that things have gone the past few seasons, obviously you look at Cade Cavalli. Cade Cavalli had Tommy John surgery the beginning of 2023. Last year, pitched one outing in Wilmington and then was shut down with dead arm and the flu. And this season, we have yet to see him up at the major league roster, and he has not been the same. But then again, there are guys like Steven Strasburg who have had incredible careers, who have been a long-term National, who have won a World Series here. So you've seen the two sides of the coin here. It's way too early to speculate which it'll be with Sykora at this point in time. But the one thing is for sure, today, on July 28th, when you first hear that news, this sucks. This sucks. Because right now, if you were to take Travis Sykora out of the system, we'd be talking a lot about Harleen Susana, who, by the way, has also been hurt. He's down in rehabbing in High A Wilmington, and he looks good, but he's not, again, that blue chip prospect that the one we had was Travis Sykora. The Nationals are hurting right now in more ways than one. We can talk about the ownership. We can talk about the front office. But now, the one guy that we were like, you better not take this guy from us. He's now gone for at least the next season. So, what's the next step? Well, the next step for Travis Sykora, simple. He's going to get Tommy John surgery, and obviously we hope for the best. And we'll hear some updates as the year goes on. I fully anticipate him to come back healthier, stronger, because this guy did have hip surgery this offseason. And for all the naysayers out there who may look at injuries and kind of go doom or gloom in this situation, Travis Sykora has bounced back from this before. It hasn't been Tommy John surgery, but still, I think with right now, with where things are, he has proven that he can come back healthy and he can come back better, because the season he put up after last year just going bananas in Fredericksburg, he put up, again, really solid numbers across multiple different levels, getting up to AA Harrisburg after starting this year in Fredericksburg. Over his 12 starts, having a 1.79 ERA, 45 and a third innings pitch, and 79 strikeouts, improving from last year with his whip from a 0.91 in 2024 to a 0.71 in 2025. The 21-year-old should be just fine. And let's say you might not even get the 100% version of Travis Sykora, which really shouldn't even be a discussion, but let's say you get 98% of it. This is still a future all-star caliber player. This is someone that you will not move off of. You will not trade him. We anticipate at this point in time the 6'6" right-handed slugger from the right-handed side of the mound, he's going to be just fine. But as far as where, besides Travis Sykora, where do the Nationals go from this? And how does this affect their trade deadline? Because that's kind of what I'm looking at right now, and I want to get into that after this. And yes, I've told you guys all about Monarch Money, and Monarch Money is where things get right. Because do you ever wish money just felt like it was stacking up and making it easier? Well, with Monarch Money, it can be even easier. And whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. And it's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center, and you can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. And Monarch Money, it's been great to actually recognize that I can build a long-term future, but also save for my short-term goals. Like, for instance, I've learned with Monarch Money that I've been paying way too much money on delivering food right to my door because it's easy, but also when it's easy, typically costs more. And Monarch Money made me come to that realization. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money and use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. So with the trade deadline coming up, looming in just a few days, how does this news affect the trade deadline? And I think overall, big picture, not necessarily too much. But there are some discussions likely behind closed doors where it's like, listen, with specifically MacKenzie Gore, I think that's where it kind of zooms into a, hey, we got to talk about this. Because next season, the dream scenario for Nationals fans and probably for the organization was that you had MacKenzie Gore as your ace, and then you'll have Travis Sykora as your number two, who eventually will likely be your ace moving forward. So that was obviously the dream scenario for them. And now with this in mind, you've got the 2026 season. Sykora will likely not be up in the majors. You'll probably see a few rehab starts later on in August, early on in September. But even then, it's a lot of time to recover. So you already have, after 2026, you have 1 year left of MacKenzie Gore. And even then, Sykora will still likely be in the minors, working his way up. He'll be 22, 23 years old at that point in time. And we'll still be thinking he's going to be a great prospect. But with where the Nationals are, Gore is going to be a free agent again. And at this point, the trade rumors are flying. MacKenzie Gore could be traded any minute, any day, any hour, any second. With Sykora in mind here, the changes for pitching are real. Like, you now have to anticipate this offseason that the Nationals, with Trevor Williams on the shelf for the rest of the season, Josiah Gray coming back from Tommy John, DJ Hers making a comeback from Tommy John. There are a lot of different scenarios here. And again, with 2027, with a lockout looming there as well, we fully anticipate there to be a long, drawn-out process between the owners and the MLBPA. That's what everyone's saying at this point. The Nationals have to kind of really focus in here these next few days and do what's right for the future. So with that in mind, I do think it does change the discussion surrounding trading MacKenzie Gore a little bit differently. Because the dream scenario of what we all kind of look forward to is not in play for 2026. The future of Travis Sykora, unfortunately, will not be with the Washington Nationals in 2026. So therefore, you are not going to have that 1-2 punch of Gore and Sykora. Does this mean the Nationals will pull the plug and trade MacKenzie Gore now? I don't think this is really going to have that big of an effect, but it is a conversation starter, in my opinion. And if I'm Mike DeBartolo in the front office with Mark Schlaba and all the other guys, you got to think that they're discussing this now. And this is kind of just how the business should be. Because even then, they were thinking of trading Gore before this news happened. They've been probably talking about it internally for quite some time. They probably talked to his agent, Scott Boras, get a feeler about where he wants to be. If they can sign an extension, which we all know he will not sign an extension here at this point under Scott Boras, it's not a thing. It will never be a thing. If you're a Scott Boras client, you're not going to sign an extension here, plain and simple. But with where the Nationals are now, if I were Mike DeBartolo, I would want to really just kind of re-engage myself and say, listen, with or without Travis Sykora, this team likely was not going to be a postseason team next year. But now in 2027, with an impending lockout and with MacKenzie Gore hitting free agency then, the dream scenario of them being that 1-2 punch is no longer there. If you can trade him now for the best possible package, and that package would be a huge haul for this team, who is going to need some big-time prospects entering this building. The Nationals will consider this, in my opinion, and they should. This is what the smart organizations do. They are ahead of the curve. And I think when the Nationals traded away Juan Soto, they were ahead of the curve. At that point, everyone kind of believed that the Nationals would never trade Juan Soto. And then all of a sudden, when he declined that massive extension, and everyone was like, well, they're going to trade him now, and they did. And you got back MacKenzie Gore, James Wood, C.J. Abrams, Robert Hassel, Harleen Susanna. All of those guys have been top prospects in this organization over the last 3 seasons. You have an opportunity to do that as well with MacKenzie Gore, but not to the extent of Juan Soto, obviously. Juan Soto is on a different level as far as MacKenzie Gore goes. But you will still get a huge haul. And if a team is desperate enough to win, not just now, but in the next 2 seasons, and they believe Gore is that missing piece, and he has some room to grow, which I think a lot of GMs around baseball believe in, this will impact the trade market for the Nationals. And this will impact maybe what they get in return. Maybe they want to get more pitchers in return. Because again, you've got Susanna, who's also had arm injuries this season also. You've got guys like Sykora now, who has Tommy John surgery, and he's going to be undergoing that in the next few days. Things are going to happen, and things will change. But I do believe that right now, with the Sykora news, it changes the conversation a little bit internally with where the Nationals plan to go. And it should, in my opinion. So it's a gut-punching news today with Travis Sykora on July 28th announced, and the Nationals announcing that he will be undergoing Tommy John surgery. Just again, your top prospect, your blue chip prospect that everyone in baseball knew about. Everybody knew this guy was untouchable. He's going to be out for the next year and a half. So hopefully he'll have a speedy recovery. You can stay tuned to updates here on Locked On Nationals for the next year or so with where he stands and what will look ahead. So thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. I will catch you guys on the flip side. Have a good one. Go Nats.